Munich vs PXG has been a tale as old as my dead granddad at this point, and it's coming to a close very soon. So allow me to set in stone a final prediction of what the next chapter will have in store for us, alongside predicting important bids and what could happen following the NEL arc. Before we continue, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, as all support on this channel is greatly appreciated, as I have some bangers coming out very soon. I also have a BLUELOCK Discord in which I'll leave a link to down below. So predicting the next chapter and so on is going to be based on pure speculation and according to how the timeline is going, and all centered around my opinion, so you're allowed to disagree. In chapter 283 we see the unlikely chemical reaction of Isagi and Kaiser, even just for a mere moment. To explain the situation, we had a true flow state Isagi and Rin matching up in a possible climax of this match. Time and time again these characters had faced off, and usually where Isagi fails in the physical specs department, he makes up for in predictions and foreseeing realities where he would win anyway, much like he did with his back heel shot in the second selection. But with Isagi in this trance state, wouldn't he now win against his main rival? Well, let's take a look. Loki with a smile and Noah seemingly shocked, we see Isagi and Rin face each other head on. Isagi attempts a tackle, reaching his leg out for the ball in Rin's possession, but Rin shoots before Isagi could reach it, seemingly ending the game altogether. However, Isagi was very much prepared for this outcome, fooling Rin as both of them temporarily tap out of their flow states to see the result up ahead, and that result of course was Kaiser's interference. Isagi intentionally baited Rin to shoot at such a tight angle that before the ball could even get out of reach, Kaiser was there to intercept, being the only one who could see into the same situation as Isagi in that very moment, making the Isagi x Kaiser chemical reaction for the very first time. This panel of Kaiser kicking the ball very closely mirrored how Hiyori stopped Rin's first shot of the game, but of course with a better shot and less outright connection with the ball experienced a less intense deflection. It now becoming loose, it was heading directly towards the goal. For a moment, the shot looks like it was actually going to go out. Gargamaru panned his attention towards the shot, seeing where it could end up, and in an unexpected situation, the ball deflected off the post. It was over. Well, that's what I would be saying if it did go in. The ball so close to reaching the inside of the goal was at the last millisecond of the moment saved by Gotamaru, to the absolute shock of Charles, Igaguri, Loki and Noah. With the loose ball going to the left upon Gargamaru's save, we end this chapter with a temporary celebration of Gargamaru and Isagi to proclaim their win over Rin's immense efforts. So wow, what a chapter. Definitely a worthy hype addition to this match. But with how this chapter ended, this now raises the questions of what happens next in chapter 284. Let's move on to the predictions. My own personal prediction for chapter 284 follows up on a prediction I had relating to Ness teaming up with Isagi. I made a video on this a while back where I go into more detail, so be sure to check that out if you're interested in hearing the full context. But to explain why my theory is even stronger now, that comes down to the missing piece that Isagi has been looking for. The notion of teaming up with Isagi is far too tempting of a situation with how the story is unfolded for Ness. Isagi's evolution wouldn't be the thing that carries him to victory, but instead that same magician all those chapters ago, who we had seen visually and read when he spoke outright about Isagi's magic, is now in the situation where he can assist with that magic at its peak. There is a counter argument point to this though that I want to bring up, and that is why Isagi would need an ally like Ness to score a goal. And Isagi, who has individually improved as much as he has in this one match, shouldn't need to rely as heavily on a character as sidelined as Ness. But this is the kind of individual that Isagi is. He brings his teammates to the forefront of his plays. It's why Isagi couldn't stop Rin on his own, because he isn't the type of player to pose as a one-on-one threat in a matchup. He's the type of player who allows his wits to outthink his opponents, grasping on plays, and of course the opportunities through his gameplay. With Isagi's true flow state, or omnivision if you want to put a temporary name on it, was not able to physically outperform Rin, but Isagi instead figured out a foreseeable scenario to stop Rin's goal. The only unforeseen component was Kaiser himself not being able to fully block the shot like Isagi anticipated, which left Gargamaru to pick up the scraps and save the game. And now with Isagi returning to zero, his now open mindset would allow him to work in collaboration with his rivals without previous conflict interfering with his absolute primary aim of winning this game. Winning through his own goal would likely only be an additive bonus because Isagi himself has noticed his limits. He knows he isn't the genius that can take it on all by himself, so he relies and trusts in people when absolutely needed. People saw this as a deal breaker, but this Isagi is no different to the Isagi we've always known, so this comes back to the question, why would Isagi team with Ness? And my answer to that would be, why wouldn't he? With the star chain system close to expiring, therefore Loki and Noah no longer being threats on the field, this is actually the perfect time for Isagi to team with Ness if he truly cares about just winning the game. Whether Ness decides to help Isagi next chapter immediately or later on, we cannot be certain. But the ball is going to the left side of the pitch after Gargamaru's save, and seeing the formation of the characters from the start of this chapter, Ness is in close quarters of retrieving the ball and being the player to either begin a counter push or begin with the starting ball after the substitutions are done. But at the end of the day, this is all my speculation. The instance instead that could happen is Isagi continuing to team up with Kaiser, as they've both now thrown away their malice towards one another by going back to zero. But would Kaiser accept help from Isagi? Who knows? He simply had no choice but to be a gear in Isagi's blueprints, as that was the only way to stop them from losing against Rin. But even then, Kaiser was more so the one to help Isagi, as Isagi knew that he couldn't stop Rin without him, foreseeing that confirmed outcome thanks to his upgraded metavision. Everything is up in the air as we are reaching our final moments of this match. Let me know what you guys speculate will happen in the next chapter in the comments below. Our next point on today's video will be the updated salary predictions of a few players within this match. We will only discuss a few important characters who have had a recent impact, such as Isagi, Rin, Igaguri, Kaiser, and Gakamaru. I will say it's impressive how much of a threat Igaguri was posing to Rin, considering how dominant of a player Rin is in this match. And knowing the series, he could be in a special need for an unexpected inclusion in the top 21 Blue Lock players. So yes, Igaguri will likely weasel his way in, which a lot of people won't be particularly happy about. I posted the idea of him getting a high enough bid to be signed to a club so he doesn't have to return to the family temple, as his goal in becoming the world's best striker is being overshadowed by his family's tradition. With him achieving a career in football, something that he enjoys, all the while avoiding the less wanted situation of his life, would be a good end to Igaguri in the main story and showcases his accomplishments. So for a bid that I believe he deserves, I think 10 million yen is a fair number and for sure keeps him out of the top 21, but yes, I do believe he will somehow get to the next stage, even by some unfair means. Gargamaru, from his recent game-changing save, has definitely been bumped up in the rankings. It's been over a year since Gargamaru has done anything of actual significance, and this was a definite highlight that showcased his monstrous reflexes. Of course, he wouldn't have saved an original Rin shot if Kaiser didn't get involved, but still saving an unpredictable trajectory shot that close to going in is worth a significant bump, like 45 million yen. This is why we call him Gotomaru. I'll discuss Isagi and Rin together. As for my predictions of the top 10 valued players, by the end of the NAL video that I'd done on my channel, I had these two as joint first, with bids of 250 million each. So now, judging by the current display level of skills, has that prediction changed? To be honest, no, it hasn't. I could see their bids being higher, but 250 million each is still a safe bet, as I'm of the belief that Isagi will get the final goal and has done enough in his own right in this match that's new and innovative that adds on to the reason why he deserves a higher bid. And as for Rin, it could be possible that his bid is hindered due to his irrational goal. Sure, it paid off, but having a loose cannon like that on your team is hard to manage. But for his amazing performance, of course, he should be bumped up enough to keep him in first place, and in this case, neck and neck with his rival. Finally, Kaiser, who is the most interesting case by far. His most recent bid of 320 million from Real is now in a state of uncertainty. Not because he will lose the bid, no. That bid could likely go up, but it's more of a psychological factor for Kaiser's sake. You know, his own lack of love for himself. A reason why he may stay on Bastard. While Kaiser, for as much as he wants to step away from Bastard and away from Noah's shadow, he would likely not accept the bid from Real if he did lose to Isagi, making it punishment on himself for failing against the entire reason he came to the NAL. However, if Kaiser experienced a level of growth within this match due to recent events in some way that we are unaware of, he could very well be heading to Spain like we all originally suspected, therefore shooting down Noah's plans, but we will actually talk more about Noah in just a moment. I believe for his Magnus goal and the overall impact of this match and the status of being a new Gen 11, I can see that bid being bumped up to 400 million, overall being in a better spot than he was, and I believe this bid would be made by Real, with Bastard likely making a smaller bid by comparison. Finally, we get into what I predict to be the future of Blue Lock going forward. We possibly could have Noah without a significant prodigy and or rival with Kaiser depending on if he accepts the bid by Real, whilst Blue Lock players will look into their own bids, assessing what they would accept upon becoming of age to sign a professional deal, as the age of legality to become a contracted club player is 18 and over. And of course the prep beginning for the U20 World Cup arc. Not the actual World Cup arc, but of course still very important, which is the whole reason why the NAL occurred, to familiarise the Blue Lockers with a professional level of players and also a standard in skill in which they must reach in order to win. Of course the bids for every Blue Lock player will decide who makes up the top 21 players to prepare for this U20 World Cup arc, which is kind of an aspect that people have seemingly forgotten as time has gone on, but who can blame them? A lot has happened. The top 21 players will also decide the players who are staying around in the Blue Lock facility, and those who fail to get into the top 21 will be locked off from the project entirely. The elimination aspect in which hasn't been present since the second selection, which is kind of odd that it was that long ago. The Blue Lock gang will definitely face the crazy opposition in the U20 World Cup like Kaiser, Sai, Lorenzo, Charles and Loki, as well as some unknown players, maybe possibly newly established New Gen 11 players. Please? Pretty please? Super soon I will likely make a video going into proper details of what I predict will happen in the World Cup arc, but just know that the future of the Blue Lock manga is looking to be incredibly exciting. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and until next time, peace.